It's so sad. But what's not sad is that we have finally, after, I guess they say 3,000 years, I've heard from 3,000 years to 500 years, but whatever it is, it's a lot. But this was the one, this was the granddaddy of them all, and frankly, I thought this was probably going to be the toughest, and maybe in many ways it was, but we had a lot of good talent. Steve Witkoff, Jared, and Marco, and Pete, and General Kane was so great. John Ratcliffe was incredible. We had an amazing array of talent, and we were helped by, in particular, the countries represented at this table. I will say, to me, you were fantastic, and your country is unbelievable, and I don't think they give you a fair shake. They talk about you as though you're not a nice person, and you happen to be a nice person. You happen to live in a little tough neighborhood. You're surrounded by everybody. And without you, this wouldn't have happened. And I just want to thank you very much. That's Qatar. And he's a great man. He's an amazing leader. And another man who's been a friend of mine for a long time. I don't know what it is. I like the tough people better than I like the soft, easy ones. I don't know what the hell that is. It's a personality problem, I suspect. But this gentleman from a place called Turkey has one of the most powerful armies actually in the world. It's much more powerful than he even lets known. If you look at some of the recent conflicts, he was at the top of them, and he was winning them, and he did win them. And he doesn't want any credits. He doesn't want anything. He just wants to be left alone. He's a tough cookie, but he's been my friend. And every time I've ever needed him, he's been there for me. So I just want to thank President Erdogan, Turkey. Because he is difficult. They call me. They said, would you do me a favor? Could you speak to Erdogan? And I do. And he never fails us. Right, General? He never fails. He's amazing. So I just want to thank you for the friendship. It's great. Thank you very much. And then, of course, we have the host tonight. And I just want to thank you very much. There was a reason we chose Egypt, because you were very helpful. And very, very helpful. Everybody wanted to have this, but we really thought it was appropriate. And you are a great leader. You have very little crime. You have problems that other countries don't have. And of course, nothing's perfect, but the job you do is amazing, and I want to thank you. Another one, we've been my friend right from the beginning, during the campaign against crooked Hillary Clinton. Have you heard of her? We were both downstairs waiting to go up to meet this gentleman who has a place called Egypt, the oldest civilization. They say 6,000 years. China is 5,000 years, but you're actually number one. 6,000 years, can you believe it? But the oldest, they say, civilization. But so I went up to meet him first, and we liked each other so much that she waited for about an hour and a half. And I think your meeting lasted about 2 minutes with her. So I always remembered that. But that was our first meeting. We had great chemistry together. And he's a fantastic man and a fantastic general, by the way. But he's a great president. And I want to thank Egypt and all of your representatives for treating us all so well. So we're really representative of a whole group of nations, and they're sitting behind us, and you know most of them. I can tell you this guy's got so much money. They all have so much money. There's more money and power sitting behind us. I love that they're behind us. We've never been sitting behind anybody before. This is a very unique position for them, but they are seriously, they're among the most powerful countries in the world, the richest countries in the world, and there's never been really an assemblage like what we have today. I don't think I've never seen it anyway. And I want to thank everybody for being with us. Man, I just solved the war for him. Azerbaijan. Oh, you got doing a good job? Where did you come picture here? Where is Arius? You guys are still getting along, right? We fought for 32 years, and in about 1 hour we settled it, right? And they like each other now, too. That's great. Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. Italy, she's a very strong ruler. She's doing a great job. You're doing a great job. Thank you very much. So many, but we're actually going to be making a speech after this, so this is just a very important signing. But we're doing a signing, then we're doing a speech, and then I may stay behind with the leaders just to talk about that some things without the press. I want to thank the media for you've been so respectful on this deal. You know the deal, and I really. It was so pleasant to watch. I was on the plane for quite a while listening to the various newscasts, and they were all fair. They were talking about how incredible this is. This is an incredible day for the world, let alone the Middle East. So I just wanted to thank the media. They really treated it with respect. I wish you could be like that on other things, but that's perhaps too much to ask for. But on this, tremendous, everybody feels the same. Just tremendous respect, and we appreciate it very much. Can we get the documents, please? Okay.
Okay. There was some right here.
Okay.
You are watching a historic moment here in Egypt at Sharm el-Sheikh, Egyptian city, as President Trump, surrounded by other world leaders, signs a ceremonial document behind a banner that says "Peace in the Middle East." This is to commemorate today's milestone moment, the release of the hostages, aid into Gaza, and the first step toward this broader peace plan that could lead in a very good direction. The president calls it a new day in the Middle East. 3,000 years, he just said, to get to this point. Also, many hours behind schedule as I bring in CBS News Chief White House correspondent Nancy Cordes. We are behind today, Nancy, as you travel with the president or in Sharm el-Sheikh. We are behind, but this is no less important for it. It is a big day. There is no hiding that. What stood out to you so far?
Well, the fact, Tony, that these leaders are all signing on to this document at all is interesting. Technically, they don't need to sign on to the deal. Israel and Hamas have already signed on, but it's a recognition, I think, that if this peace deal is going to survive and flourish and lead to a final end to the war, it is going to require both support and pressure from the wider world, not just regional leaders, but even some of the European leaders who have traveled here on short notice to be in that room with President Trump. Pressure because there are going to be parts of this deal that both Israel and Hamas balk at. Israel, for example, is going to push back if it's required to withdraw from Gaza entirely before Israel feels that all the milestones have been reached. Hamas, because the deal calls on Hamas fighters, if they want to stay in Gaza, to hand over their weapons, something that some Hamas members are not going to be thrilled to do. And so it is going to require pressure from the surrounding Middle Eastern neighborhood and the wider world. And it's also, frankly, going to require a lot of money, particularly from wealthy Middle Eastern countries, to rebuild Gaza and rebuild it fast enough that people can get back to some form of daily life, with a functioning economy, with schools, with some kind of police force, with a governing body. All of these things are required for life to resume in Gaza. That's the kind of fine print that has not been worked out yet. So that's what the president is discussing with these world leaders today.
Yeah, Nancy, on that point about the fine print, our partners at the BBC have been reporting that there are already clashes inside Gaza between Hamas security forces and armed clans within the Strip. We don't know what they're over exactly, but the idea of an international stabilization force, something detailed in this plan, can't come together soon enough, because without it, it's not clear who will fill that leadership vacuum there. And as we talk about who's in attendance, it's also notable who is not in attendance. Of course, Hamas not in attendance, not invited. Iran not in attendance. And also the Prime Minister of Israel. He was invited at the very last minute, we saw earlier today, and for a moment it appeared he had accepted that invitation, but then a moment later said he could not attend because of the proximity to the Israeli holiday, which came into being here as night fell. So there's a lot of people in the room who can make a difference, and yet also some key people in the room who will not be able to sway things one way or the other, even as so many key details remain to be seen. I do have a question for you, Nancy, on the phases we keep talking about. Phase one of this peace plan was the hostage release and the speeding of aid into Gaza, the ceasefire. We talk about phase 2. Are we witnessing phase 2 right now in Egypt?
We are witnessing the leaders talk about phase 2 and what it would entail. You know, you mentioned, Tony, this stabilization force. Currently, that is a figment of these leaders' imaginations. This is something that is written down in a document. The fact that there is going to be an international stabilization force, essentially peacekeepers who come into Gaza to prevent things like the clashes that you were just mentioning, and to ensure that this ceasefire continues to hold. But who's going to make up that international force? How many countries will contribute troops? What kinds of troops? What missions will they perform? What roles won't they perform? All of these are questions that still need to be determined. And White House officials will tell us quite candidly, they've seen the movie before where Israel and Hamas strike a deal and there's a fragile ceasefire and then it falls apart. There's so many ways that this deal could fall apart. They are very interested in ensuring that that doesn't happen. So they want to work out the details of this stabilization force as quickly as they can.
Yeah, it is an act of profound optimism already, just to allow yourself to be pictured in such a large group in front of a sign that large that says Peace 2025. We, of course, all hope for it. Joining us now is CBS News national security contributor Samantha Vinograd. Sam, one of the really sticky points here is how you de-radicalize Hamas. How do you convince thousands of young men who have just been through a brutal 2-year war on the backs of generations of struggle to lay down their arms?
Well, Tony, every post-conflict environment is different, but having started my career in Iraq, where we candidly got disarmament wrong, and the methods that the international community used in that context actually led to more sectarian violence, it's clear that there needs to be a series of experts, not just money and not just boots on the ground, but actual experts in disarmament, putting together a plan on how to create Hamas to put their arms down, but also to create pathways for these individuals to reintegrate back into society in non-military roles. There are lessons learned from other post-conflict environments that really have to be integrated here. That is going to require economic development. That is going to require employment opportunities. A lot of these individuals worked solely for the military arm of Hamas and are now going to need some other thing to do every day. So disarmament is going to be incredibly complex. And back to Nancy's point, Tony, under the best case scenario, even with both parties, Hamas and Israel, committed to this process, there's likely going to be a very winding road to achieving the goals of this peace plan. Arab nations estimated back in February, I believe, that over $53 billion was needed for reconstruction in Gaza. And then we turn to the actual governance of Gaza itself. Hamas is, according to the peace plan, not going to be in charge. The Palestinian Authority is not really up to the task. So many unanswered questions, despite recognizing the enormity and the significance of today.
Yeah, Sam, and this is going to take time. It could even take more time than is left in the term of a presidential term in 4 years. It could be an 8, a 12, an even longer term campaign. I've heard estimates that go even beyond that. But it is a start. And so while we talk about complexity, we want to leave our viewers here with images of the success of today, the emotional reunions just hours before here in Israel. It's a time of joy, long in the making here for both Israelis and across the border Palestinians, as well as they hope for a better future. Our coverage will continue on CBS News 24/7, your local news, and, of course, tonight on the CBS Evening News. This has been a CBS News special report. I'm Tony DeCopel in Jerusalem.
Sales agent. If you're eligible, they can even help enroll you over the phone in a Humana Medicare Advantage dual eligible special needs plan. And remember, annual enrollment ends on December 7th. So call now. Humana, a more human way to healthcare.
I'm obsessed obsessed with this Olay Hyaluronic Body Wash. And it's 10 times more vitamin B3 complex. Just one shower transforms my skin from dry to intensely moisturized. For me, it's only Olay Moisturizing Body Wash.
Nothing brings us together like Eggland's best eggs. Always so fresh and delicious, plus superior nutrition. For us, it's eggs any style, as long as they're the best. Eggland's best.
With schizophrenia, it can feel like your symptoms decide what you do and who you can be. If you still have symptoms, be bold and ask your healthcare provider about Cobenfy, a twice-daily pill for the treatment of schizophrenia. Cobenfy is not an antipsychotic. It's a different kind of treatment. Cobenfy showed overall improvement across a range of schizophrenia symptoms. And in clinical studies, most people saw no substantial weight gain.
Don't take if allergic to Cobenfy, have trouble emptying your bladder or stomach, certain liver problems, or untreated narrow-angle glaucoma. Serious side effects such as urinary retention, worsening liver, kidney, bile duct, and gallbladder problems, slow stomach emptying, serious allergic reactions, narrow-angle glaucoma, increased heart rate, and side effects in those with kidney problems may occur. Don't drive or use heavy machinery until you know how Cobenfy affects you. Seek help right away if you have hives, swelling of your face, lips, mouth, tongue, or throat, hoarseness, difficulty speaking, breathing, or emptying your bladder.
Imagine what could be Cobenfy.
Imagine what could be Cobenfy.
The Young and the Restless will...
Longcar Lyon Jenkins settles 90% of our cases out of court. Our reputation and proven track record of impressive courtroom wins make insurance companies more inclined to settle quickly. The Strong Arm team has won hundreds of millions for our clients. Call 800-285-HURT.
Saturday, October 11th, it's time for the Lindale's Country Fest and Harvest Hustle 1K or 5K, benefiting local charities. Enjoy family-friendly entertainment as you stroll the arts and crafts. Enjoy fair food, visit the car show, live entertainment, Kiwanis auction, and more. Children will enjoy a free petting zoo, bounce houses, laser tag, and carnival games. Contact the Lindale Chamber for more information.
From big game celebrations to celebrating your big day. For 40 years, CiCi's Pizza has been serving more than endless deliciousness at our pizza buffet. We're about fresh memories served daily. Here's to another 40 years.
Call the law firm you can trust and get the justice you deserve.
Strong leadership.
Strong results. Call the Strong Arm team now.
We've won hundreds of millions for our clients. Longcar Lyon Jenkins, 800-285-HURT.
My name is Carson Crawford, and you're watching CBS 19.
I'm Gail King.
I'm Tony Nicole.
And I'm Nate Burleson.
We'll see you on CBS Mornings, 7 o'clock.
I don't mean to interrupt, but can I speak to you in private?
Excuse me.
Seems like LA is the place to be these days.
Yeah.
Nick, Sharon, Noah, Claire.
Holden.
Can't forget about Holden. What do you think Kyle wants?
If I had to guess, he's feeling pretty desperate right now. His maybe girlfriend is out of town with some guy that nobody trusts, doing whatever he can to get back in the game. I don't envy him.
Sounds like a man who's been there.
Not anymore.
Kyle, listen, before you say anything, I really haven't talked to Claire much since she left for LA.
I wasn't going to ask.
I just assumed.
No, I'd be pumping you for information. Not that I would turn any down if you had it.
I don't.
Okay, well, I've decided to go to LA myself.
Are you sure that's such a good idea?
I'm not just gonna give up on this relationship, Victoria. I can't sit around and just